Welcome to the Business Spotlight. Today, we are spotlighting a remarkable British luxury slow fashion brand led by creative director Jatin Patel. This brand is redefining sustainability, not just through materials, but through inclusive practices, community empowerment, and innovative ventures into tech and AI. Let's explore Jatin's inspiring journey and vision for the future. Welcome. I'm so glad you're with us today.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Um, First question, let's get straight to it. So, what do you do and for how long?
Right. So essentially, I'm Jatin Patel, at the moment, creative director of slow sustainable fashion brand Kalikas Armour. And essentially, we make clothes, but we make clothes with a difference. The main purpose of us creating is the idea that we're adding extra value to the clothes. And so the concept of slow fashion is that we only make to order, and we make smaller runs, rather than making full-on collections all the time and showing them and then ending up with a lot of excess garments. So the idea is that we work directly with the client, specifically for an event or a purpose. We work with them and we help build their vision in a sustainable way. So whether that's the materials we choose, the process of cutting and making, and it's all about then helping that client feel great and look great.
That sounds absolutely fantastic. So, what's your business journey been like today? Some of the highs, some of the lows. You've been doing this quite a while.
I really have. And I think it's just something I really wanted to sort of highlight as well, that it's, although, I've had my brand for 10 years, something, to get to that stage, it's been a real journey, and I would say that I would describe myself as a all-round creative in a sense that I didn't specialize into one specific area early on, and I was allowed to explore. And so from a child, I was always drawing, painting, making, creating. And I kind of fell into art at college, from GCSEs, A level. And then it was still quite confined. We're talking 20 odd years ago, longer. And at that time, I did a very traditional A-level art. So it was very compositional study, art history, which I'm looking back on it, I'm grateful that I had that training and I had that learning. But it was only when I arrived at art college for a year of foundation pre-degree that suddenly my world exploded. And it was just this, wow, this is possible, this is possible. And I kind of just surrendered and let myself go. And then I fell into fashion at a 3-month segment on the course itself. And then I ended up coming up to do my degree. And then since then, I've learned, practiced, trialed, completed my degree and the collection. Then I worked for different designers up in London, at different levels. So I learned really good at high street level in terms of production, manufacture, quantity, worked for more couture designers, really that hand bespoke, the craft, the quality, working with the clients. And then I sort of went back, did my master's, and then it was on my master's that I set my brand up. And then since then, it's been whoop, 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 every sort of thing. And I mean, I have, something that I don't do a lot is sort of take 5 and stop and sort of think, do you know what, we've really come this far. Because it's that constant, right, we've done this, where can we go now? What can we lead this on to? And I really like that sort of organic, creative, reactive thinking to what is actually out there and what we need to do rather than what we think it is. And it's trying to find that balance as an entrepreneur as well, is what's possible with what we have at the moment. I hope I've made that a bit.
Yeah, that's a wonderful answer there. So, what's been the biggest lesson you've learned
Ah,
since being in this business?
um, I think business and life is that your efforts are never wasted. And if I explain what I mean by that is, sometimes you think you create something and you're creating it for a specific purpose or an event, and you sort of put it out there and you don't always get that feedback or the exposure that you think you should do or you want to get. at that particular time, and then something a couple of years later, and you use that for that, and all of a sudden it explodes. So I think it's that whole idea that anything you do, you have to, even if you start small, it's growth, and every little bit counts. And at some stage, it all adds up and it all makes sense.
Yeah. No, that makes absolute sense to me. We talk a lot about the 1%, and it's like it's just that 1% that makes the difference, but it's that consistency of actions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think, my journey is one of those things that it's, the highs have been great, but the lows have been hard and they've been
Mm,
tough. And, that's been a real life lesson for myself. And it's about building that resilience, building that tenacity and that sort of
mm,
determination to think, look, yeah, this is my ambition. This is where I want to get to. We sort of got to there and now we're back there again. But a lot of it is self-perception and how you sort of see yourself in the world. Of course it is. But it's that idea that, all right, we've had a big knock, get yourself back up there. What's next? Learn from what didn't go right as well as what did go right. And, as fashion and creativity is so subjective, and it's that
mm,
idea that of learning that I'm not for everybody. What we do isn't for everybody, and we're not out there
mm.
to please everybody. So, but it's, somehow the universe aligns everything, and you find the people, and you get your tribe, and it's when that magic happens, it's exceptional.
Yes. I love that answer. Thanks so much for that. So, uh, can I ask, biggest mistake you've made and what you've
Oh,
learned from it?
brilliant question. Biggest mistake, I guess, early on would be almost having a preset idea. If we focus on the sort of fashion side of it, of where we think or where I thought it should have been, and comparing myself to other brands, other people, and other people's journey. So I say that when I first started out after my master's, starting off the brand in my spare bedroom at home, with a single machine, and then looking back and thinking, bloody hell, we achieved that with so little resources, contacts, connections. I managed to get through to that. But at that stage, it was like, well, we should be at that level and we should be here and we should be that. And when we used to showcase our collections at the On-Off Royal Academy all those years ago, and it's a very competitive industry. And it's,
Mm,
I think for me, it's then just learning to walk my own path.
mm, yes, I like that a lot. Um, so you mentioned that it's a very competitive industry. So could you share a little bit about what marketing really works well for you that you can give advice on?
Um, we tried all the traditional marketing early. I say traditional at that stage, how it used to be in terms of wanting to work with PR companies, smaller companies. We didn't want to be a small company and a big brand and not have the attention that we should do in that sense. So it was always an organic growth. And I think at the moment, what's really working is on social media, the videos that we're creating in terms of talking, just being very honest about the journey behind the scenes, what difficulties we're facing, um, and what is going right, how we're being received, and it's just been authentic. And I think the biggest thing I've
Mm,
learned is just be me, just be you, and understand that not everybody's gonna take that, but the
yeah.
people that do will run with it, and we're getting I've been incredibly lucky with the support I've had with people that just follow my journey, back me, and the kind words and the everything, and that's come from people from all over the world that you would never even expect that connecting, and that's the power of social media. So going back a few steps, it's for people starting on their journeys now, you could be anywhere in the world, but if your work and your craft and what you're doing is resonating with people, somebody on the other side of the world is going to pick that up with the power of social media, which
Mm.
in turn, can work good and can work bad as well.
Yeah, yeah, it could go both ways very easily. So yeah, that's a great answer. What is one thing you wish more people knew about your industry?
Ah, okay. Realism, the
Mm,
reality of the industry. Because I've seen it myself and I've experienced it. And lots of people say who aren't in the industry believe fashion to be this big, glamorous industry, which, you know, that it is. And for some people, they get to enjoy it all the time. But for people like us, we get to step in and we have amazing experiences, but it's keep your feet on the ground. You know, you're there to enjoy that, the hard work, the results of your hard work after that particular project or experience. But then it's like, to enjoy that again, you've got to back it up in a sense of your products, of consistency, credibility. You know, it's not, I'm not in that section of the industry where we get to dress up every day and we get to walk the red carpet and we're out and it's all fabulous. You know, we've been very lucky to enjoy it and step in and step out. But I think it's the reality of anybody starting a brand now. Because I look on social media and you've got all these companies showing people how to start a brand, how to do this, how to do that. And it's, I guess what I'm trying to say is without hard work, without that struggle, and without that knockback, sometimes you're not going to grow and you're not going to get to where you want to do. You know, it's very rare for somebody to start a brand and go straight to the top and get, say, stocked up in Harrods straight away or on one of the online stores. You know, for some people, fantastic, and that's wonderful. But it's not that's not going to happen to everybody. And I think it's comes back to this for me is, you know, when we speak to the younger people we work with, it's almost like identifying, what do you want out of your life? What does success mean to you? And then sort of work backwards and say, these are the things I want to achieve, and these are the things I need to do or want to do to get to that level. Because what success for me is going to be very different to how you determine success and what makes you happy. So I think if we start to play that game and we're all trying to go down the same path, we're going to end up with a lot of unhappy people, which unfortunately I think is the world that we live in. And I think in direct answer is, don't believe everything you see on social media. In terms of, but you know, you're seeing snippets of people's lives, snippets of experience, and then that we're only human and we all have that desire and we all want it. And then we all sort of think, well, those people are living those lives and we're only here. And then that angst starts to build up into you. And then you sort of feel like you're chasing the flow rather than going with the flow of your own life.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Thanks for that great answer there. So, what advice would you give to someone just starting out in business?
Oh, be prepared. Be prepared for the good and the bad,
Mm,
you know, and that could be from anything from meeting the wrong people. That's just human nature. Again, whatever industry you're in, you've got good and bad.
mm,
Some people will really help you and back you. Other people are simply out there to not do that for you and work for
mm,
themselves in that sense. And, you know, and I think it's just understanding the world we're in at the moment and the bigger thing. And I think that's what fashion is really about. And that's why I love that umbrella that I work in, because it encompasses so much. And everything else in the world that's going on, whether it's conflict or famine or some natural disaster or something happening, all that affects what we wear and what we do, because that will affect the supplier and the materials and the components. Everything comes together to build the garments, to where it's come from, the price, how it's produced. You know, it's all those things. But I guess back to that original question is, be prepared, be excited, and enjoy it.
yeah, yeah. Oh, excellent. Getting goosebumps. I love it. You do a lot of work in the community, Jatin. Can you tell me a little bit more about some of the things that you are involved with?
So I got back into the sort of community work where I am in Medway at the moment, in lockdown. So again, as awful was lockdown and the COVID experience was for all of us, there was some good to come out of it. You know, and again, it's again going back to the idea of making the best of the situation or the best of what you got. And so where we couldn't come into the studio, we had major orders cancelled, events. We had an event in a wedding in Sorrento to go to. And everything came to a standstill. So it was like, well, what do I do? And I couldn't just sit there and do nothing. And this was very early on. So I came back online, got involved in the cultural partnerships. And then from there, I was part of a small team that helped write the new cultural strategy that's now been adopted by the council, 10-year, created a new Arts Council compact model, Creative Medway. And it was amazing because there were so many passionate, creative people in the area that all wanted to come together and strengthen what we had and then help build pathways for the people coming up and the people coming around. And it was just this idea from, say, the big organizations, Arts Council and POs, to universities, to the council, to freelancers, to everything in between, to sort of share the experiences, the resources. So that's now led to me I was elected as champion of creative people at Creative Medway, which my role now is about going out and meeting people, seeing what the difficulties are, what successes are, connecting people, and to really collaborate. I also sit as the chair for the Arts Council Ideas Test in Medway, which I love doing because it's about going out to taking creativity and culture to the most unexpected places in the most under-deprived areas in the area. And it's great because you can really see the difference an interaction can make, and simple support and help. And it's allowing people to follow their dreams. You know, I'm a British-born Indian man. I brought up in the East Midlands, and at those days, there just wasn't those creative opportunities or those pathways. So I always like to help people and show people, and ultimately, and I think say to people, look, if I can do this, what can you do? Anybody can get out and do it. It just takes hard work, determination, and a lot of breaks and passion and tenacity, I guess, to how badly do you want it? There's always going to be issues, there's always going to be problems, and there's always going to be things we all have to, massive hurdles we all have to jump over. But it's, what do you want out of your life? And I guess it's just helping. And that sort of culture and community that we're creating is fantastic.
I'm so it's always so wonderful when we hear about the good work that people do in the local community. So thank you for all of that that you contribute, Jatin. Right, quick questions. What's the key to success to you?
Oh, self-belief, determination. Whatever life throws at you, as hard as it is, find a way to get through it. Work through it. Yeah, self-belief.
Good answer. What is one piece of advice that you would give to any business owner in any stage of their journey?
Oh, really good question, that is. I would say, apart from enjoying the journey, again, determination, have a clear vision, and then sort of trust that process. And that sort of comes back to that creative process, is to know that this is where I want to get to. This is where we are. We know X, Y, and Z at this moment, but we don't know what the reaction will be to that, to then get to that stage. So that creative process allows you to be reactive. And I think as a smaller brand as well, that's an advantage for us, that we can be reactive and we can sort of say, well, this is working, this isn't working. We can make samples, we can make prototypes. We're investigating a lot into the sustainable materials at the moment. So we can, what I mean by that is, we're in a bigger organization, you'd have departments that would have to create something, and then that would transfer over down there. And by that time that it comes, it can be a bit more reactive for us to be quicker.
Excellent. And if you can tell me what inspires you or have inspired you in the past?
Oh, determination inspires me, and I'm in awe of people's journeys that have come from and had the most horrendous of experiences and things happen to them, but somehow they found and made a way through it, and then they've become the advocates and the storytellers to then help and inspire other people. And I guess it's that idea of passing things on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm all on board with that. Um, Book that you're reading now, or maybe read in the past that you can recommend.
Oh, I'll be honest, and I haven't been able to read a book in a long time.
All right, piece of advice you've received that you could pass along.
Okay, so I used to read all the time. I still read a lot. I just haven't read a
Mhm.
book. I have
Right.
this thing, whether it works or not, but for me, I love to read something quite obscure out of my comfort zone just to keep my brain
Mm,
ticking. So whether that be about quantum physics or the Big Bang Theory, and it's at the moment I'm really intrigued about multiverses and the concept
mm,
of how they work. And sometimes I'm reading things and articles and papers, and I'm like, it's just like, phew, but I'm like,
mm.
try to think I can get little bits of it, and I just think if maybe I'm not right or wrong, but I just like to think I can try and use different parts of my brain to do different things, the left and the right, for the logic and the creative, and somehow it sort of merges together.
Yeah, yeah, excellent. So it's kind of being open-minded to,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
that there's things that are unseen and unknown. I like it a lot. Um, if you could magically improve one area of your business right now, what would it be?
At this particular moment, if I could jump from here to the future, would be a bigger team. And what I
Mm,
mean by that is a much more team in the sense of makers, cutters, marketing, expansion. It's all
mm,
in the vision, it's in the plan at the moment that we're working on. But I'm really excited to get from here to there and then really push forward for next year with the projects that we've got lined up and the showcases and the things. So that's what would be my ideal world. It's a little difficult at the moment trying to find the people that are really great at making garments, but we're working
mm.
through it. We're training, we're building people up, and it's amazing that we are getting a lot of interest from outside the area and sort of further afield for people that want to come and work.
Excellent. And any offers, any latest news you want to share about the business? What is in the pipeline in the future?
Ah, excellent. Right. So tomorrow we are about to launch a campaign. We've never done it before. It's the first time ever. We're having a little competition, a giveaway for a manimal. And here's my blue Peter. Here's one I made earlier.
Oh, look at that.
So this is an elephant Ganesh, and the trunk comes off. And it's made from pineapple husk and pineapple leaves. So it's a fully vegan, sustainable material.
Oh, wow.
It's all hand embroidered in the studio, and we're giving away the campaign for people to have, or somebody to have their initials embroidered, all in time for the festive season. So we'll be launching that on socials tomorrow, Instagram and LinkedIn further on in the week. The idea is a simple people to sign up, and it's for us to give something back and really just see what the interest is out there.
Yeah. Oh, that is such an amazing project there. So yeah, I will definitely be sharing that.
Thank you.
And I like elephants. Do you do giraffes? They are my favorite.
Oh, we haven't got a giraffe yet, but next year we'll be launching the full range, and we've got
Yeah.
a rhino, hippo, monkey, a dog. What else was the other one? Yes, a lion as well. And so they'll all
There
be
you
done at
go.
the Pinatex range. We have worked with the Pinatex before because we did the elephant headdresses we had an automated trunk, and we did that
Right.
for the animal ball for the elephant family.
Oh,
So we
wow.
created 12 and then donated them to the charity, and then they sold them on for considerable amount of money for people to wear them. And it was all, yeah, really, really great. But it's all on my social media for people to have a look and do. So I think for us it's the idea of how do we open those conversations, because the elephant family supports real coexistence and
Mm.
conservation out in Asia for the elephants to live with the people. And it's, yeah, I love to use creativity to really open that conversation, that dialogue, and then help people to learn more and see what people can do to support.
Oh, that is wonderful. Jatin, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on today. This has been a fantastic conversation, and thank you for sharing all of that with our viewers.
Thank you very much.